250 years ago today, the Battle of Bunker Hill took place. It was fought during the Siege of Boston and the first stage of the American Revolutionary War. The battle is named after Bunker Hill in Charlestown, Massachusetts. Although most of the fighting occurred on the nearby hill, which came to be known as Breed's Hill, it was the initial target of both colonial and British forces. On June 13, 1775, the leaders of the colonial forces besieging Boston learned that the British were planning to send troops out from the city to fortify the unoccupied hills surrounding the town, giving them control of Boston Harbor. In retaliation, 1,200 colonial soldiers led by William Prescott occupied Breed's Hill and Bunker Hill covertly. Overnight, they built smaller fortified lines throughout the Charlestown Peninsula and a powerful redoubt on Breed's Hill. The British launched an attack on the colonial forces on the peninsula after learning of their existence by the break of day on June 17th. After the defenders ran out of ammunition, the redoubt was taken on their third attack. The first two attacks on the colonial positions were repulsed with heavy British casualties. The British took control of the peninsula after the colonists withdrew over Bunker Hill. Although the British won the battle tactically, it was a sobering experience for them as they suffered many more casualties, including many officers, than the Americans did. Inexperienced militia had proven in the battle that they could defeat regular army troops. As a result of the battle, the British were deterred from attacking well-defended front lines in the future. American casualties were much fewer, although their losses included General Joseph Warren and Major Andrew McClary, the final casualty of the battle. The ensuing campaign in New York and New Jersey demonstrated how the British adopted a more cautious approach to planning and executing maneuvers in subsequent engagements as a result of the battle. In order to strengthen their forces against the new and powerful Continental Army, the British were also persuaded by the expensive engagement that they needed to hire a sizable number of Hessian auxiliaries. And 40 years ago today, STS-51G took place. It was the 18th flight of NASA's Space Shuttle program and the 5th flight of Space Shuttle Discovery. The 7-day mission launched from Kennedy Space Center, Florida on June 17, 1985, and landed at Edwards Air Force Base, California on June 24, 1985. It was the first space shuttle mission that flew without at least one astronaut from the pre-shuttle era among its crew. The crew consists of Commander Daniel C. Brandenstein on his second space flight, pilot John O. Creighton on his first space flight, Mission Specialist 1 John M. Fabian on his second and last space flight, Mission Specialist 2 Flight Engineer Stephen R. Nagel on his first space flight, Mission Specialist 3 Shannon W. Lucid on her first space flight, Payload Specialist 1 Patrick Baudry, CNES, on his only space flight. Baudry became the second French citizen in space after Jean-Luc Chrétien. And last but not least, His Royal Highness from Saudi Arabia, Sultan bin Salman Al Saud, RSAF, on his first and only space flight. Al Saud became the first Arab, the first Muslim, and the first member of a royal family to fly into space. And that's all I have for today. Also, I've watched an episode of Liberty Kids about the Battle of Bunker Hill, and it taught me a very important lesson. The cost of freedom is not free. It is the cost of human lives. And Joseph Warren gave up his own to save his own. We will never forget those brave souls that fought and died in the battle. If you want to watch the episode, you'll find the link on the content below. Well, that's all I have for today. If you like what you hear, leave a comment down below and subscribe. This is Stephen Luke, and I'll see you next time for another history update.